Hello, everybody. My name is Ivar Slazdinch, and I'm Business Development Manager at Squalio, and I welcome you at this International Cybersecurity webinar. We have guys joining from all three Baltic states, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, and plus we have a guest from South, Malta, which is invited together and organized with our local partner, Image Systems. Yeah, today we have three wise guys about who will deep dive in cybersecurity different topics. The first of them is Walters Giles, a senior cybersecurity consultant, and he will deep dive and has prepared why it is, what are the benefits of external CISO. The next one is cybersecurity services architect Jānis Ginebergs. And in his presentation, you will be able to deep dive in purple testing and to actually see an overview, which may be sometimes of different kind of pen tests you have to choose. And the last but not least, the captain of their team, infrastructure and cybersecurity, Pēteris Ervalds. And he has some good news about SOC and how you can do it efficiently with Microsoft solutions. Before we move further in our presentations, and since each time joins new members of this webinar, I wanted to let you know who we are. Squalio is a company working for more than 30 years, started locally, but now has expanded through Europe, also helping our partners in Europe. We are a company working in 5 fields. First is Microsoft. First is, yes, Microsoft, I mean licensing, and first of them and most important, I believe, is Microsoft, but we work with also 500 other vendors. The next one is AI services, where we support starting from first steps in AI till POC projects tailor-made for your company. Then the next one is infrastructure, wherever you are, cloud, hybrid, or on-prem, we are there to support you, migrate you, and consult you. The next is cybersecurity, from the early and the, let's say, easy courses for your IT stuff about cybersecurity to different kind of pen tests in all the colors: black, gray, red, purple, and also advisory in such topics like NIS2, DORA, and etc. And last but not least is data services, things like GDPR, Power BI, and etc. And of course, one service I forgot, item services, where we help big companies to efficiently use their tools. The last thing in my slide now is that all our delivery guys are certified, starting from all the Microsoft related certification and cybersecurity specific ones. But now I wanted to welcome our next speaker, Walters Giles, cybersecurity consultant, and he will let you know more about what are the benefits of using external CISO. Walters, please, the stage is yours.
Good. Would you know what to do if tomorrow morning your company faced a cyber attack? Let's imagine you walk into the office, you open your computer, your files are encrypted, client information is on the dark web marketplace, your website is down, employees are calling, they can't access anything. Would you know what to do in the first 10 minutes, the first hour? According to ENISA and IBM, the cost of such an incident can exceed 270,000 euros, and that's just the beginning. Add reputation damage, lawsuits, loss of client trust, and the stakes are clear. The fines can add up to 10 million euros. And yet, Squalio's 2024 survey shows that more than 50% of companies still lack a documented incident response plan. This presentation is not about fear, it's about responsibility and readiness. Today, I'll talk about one of the most effective functions for managing cyber risk, the Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO. My name is Valters Gailis, and I'm a cybersecurity consultant with over 5 years of hands-on experience. I work at the intersection of technical security and strategic advisory, from user awareness, social engineering, trainings for employees, vulnerability assessments, to compliance audits and risk governance. I hold international recognized certifications like Security Plus and Certified in Cybersecurity. In my daily work, I support both local and international customers across various industries, helping them navigate cybersecurity challenges with limited budgets and growing regulatory pressure. Today, I'd like to walk you through three key things. What exactly is a CISO and why their role goes far beyond just IT security. How the CISO function can be provided as a service in a secure, efficient, and measurable way. And what it looks like in practice, including some tools, real examples, and concrete results. My goal is to give you a practical understanding of how strategic cybersecurity leadership, even as an outsourced service, can make a real difference for your organization. Think of the CISO as the conductor of an orchestra, connecting IT, HR, legal, and management into a single security rhythm. Too often, companies think of security as a collection of tools, firewalls, antiviruses, VPNs, but real security happens when people, processes, and technologies are aligned under a clear strategy, and that's what the CISO drives. Let me illustrate with a real-world example. A mid-sized logistic company had the GDPR documentation, a firewall, and antivirus, but they had no formal risk assessments, no supplier vetting, no staff training plan. When they were hit with the phishing attack, it wasn't the technology that failed. It was the lack of awareness and the lack of process. And that's where CISO steps in, not just to respond, but to build resilience in advance. Here you can see CISO responsibilities in everyday work, what should be done to not only have this IT security under good management, but the whole cyber security, which is also processes and documentations and trainings and etc. Next, think about the total costs of hiring a full-time CISO. A competitive salary, benefits, ongoing training, and not to mention the recruitment process itself. An external CISO service is not just about saving money. It's about financial flexibility. You only pay for what you need, when you need it. This is especially valuable for small and medium-sized businesses that need to optimize every resource. Moreover, the flexibility of an external service allows you to scale up or down based on project demands, regulatory changes, or specific threats. It's a cost-effective approach that aligns security investments with your business priorities. I work with customers across the Baltics, Germany, and the Nordics, and what I see is this. Every company thinks their situation is unique. And yes, every company has its own risks and processes, but the patterns, the mistakes, the overlooked basics, they're surprisingly consistent. An external CISO can quickly apply lessons learned elsewhere, avoiding trial and error inside your company. Let me give you a concrete example. One of our customers, a retail chain, wanted to have thought they had a solid incident response plan, but they had never tested it end to end. We ran a simulated ransomware attack, and we found critical gaps in communication and decision making. By bringing in best practices from other industries, we'll help them streamline their response plan, ultimately saving them time and potential losses. This breadth of experience is what makes an external CISO not just a consultant, but a strategic partner who can accelerate your security maturity. A few months ago, I met an IT manager who said, I know we need a security policy, I just don't have time to write it. This is a reality in many organizations. IT teams are overloaded, security gets pushed down the list until something happens. By having an external CISO, you take pressure off your team. You get dedicated focus on strategy, compliance, and incident readiness. And here's another point, incentives. An internal CISO may be part of the system, but an external CISO has a contract, reputation, SLAs. We are accountable for results. That changes the dynamic and often accelerates progress. One of the often overlooked benefits of having an external CISO is their ability to provide a truly independent perspective. Let's start with the first point, objective assessment. Internal staff, even the most experienced, can become too close to the systems and processes they manage every day. Over time, certain risks become normal, certain configurations become just the way things are. This is completely human. We all tend to adapt to our environment. An external CISO enters with a fresh pair of eyes. They're not tied to legacy decisions, internal politics, or past compromises. That allows them to spot issues that may have been overlooked for months or even years. In fact, many of the biggest weaknesses we find are not technical at all. They're assumptions that this is fine or this would never happen. Now, the second point, independent audit. Security audits done internally can easily turn into self-assessments. For example, when the same person who manages a firewall is also responsible for auditing its configuration. There's an obvious conflict of interest, even if unintentional. And an external CISO can perform a structured and biased evaluation of the organization's cybersecurity posture. They can ask uncomfortable questions, challenge decisions, and most importantly, provide evidence-based recommendations without internal pressure or constraints. This objectivity is not only important for internal improvement, it's also valued by regulators, auditors, and even customers, your customers. Being able to show that you've had an independent assessment sends a strong message that you take security seriously and are committed to transparency. This cartoon is funny, but it also reflects a growing reality. For years, cybersecurity has been seen as a technical issue, something that belongs under the IT department next to printers and passwords. But in today's environment, cybersecurity is a strategic business risk. A breach doesn't just shut down systems, it shuts down trust. It affects operations, resilience, finances, reputation, even share prices. So yes, it's time for cybersecurity to have a seat at the big table, to be discussed at the board level, not only after something happens, how it's usually what we usually see, but proactively as part of core decision making. Someone who understands how to connect risk, regulation, and technology, and who can explain cyber threats in a language that board understands. Think of virtual CISO as a fractional leadership. You get benefit of a CISO without the full-time cost. You get support tailored to your risk level, goals, and compliance needs. I want to stress this. We don't just deliver documents. We implement, we measure, we follow up. A customer once told me, your team didn't just give us a list of recommendations. You built a plan, you stayed until it was done. And that's the difference. We don't just point out problems. We partner with you to solve them. Each element of our service is designed to integrate seamlessly with your existing operations, enhancing your security posture without disrupting your workflow. How does it work? Our service. In the first month, we focus on visibility. Where are your weaknesses? Where are the gaps between your policies, if you have them, and reality? Then in the ongoing phase, we don't just monitor, we adapt. New technology, new regulations, we adjust. Your business expands, we realign priorities. Security isn't static, and neither are we. We provide continuous oversight and improvement, ensuring that your security measures evolve with your business. How we differ from other companies and internal CISOs is that we don't manage cybersecurity in spreadsheets. We use a professional CISO platform. It's called Synomi. It's a security orchestration platform that gives you a visual dashboard, risk-based task management, real-time compliance tracking, no more lost action items or guessing what's important. It's about turning data into actionable insights. Here's what sets our approach apart. Interactive training, not just PowerPoint slides for your employees. Phishing simulations that mimic real threats. Vulnerability scans with real-world prioritization using professional tools like Nessus. Dashboards that your CEO can actually read. A team that speaks both IT and business. We don't just deliver a service. We deliver measurable, practical results. And we don't just give this one person. You get a whole team of at least 5 cybersecurity professionals and at least 15 infrastructure professionals who can help you in your infrastructure everyday challenges as well. A client once asked me, can you recommend a CM tool? I said, let's first look at your log sources, your people, and your budget. Security is not a shopping list, it's a system. Even the best tools won't work if they're not part of a coherent strategy. We often see customers with, for example, Microsoft 365 Business Premium licenses, which have these advanced security features, but they have not been configured, not used. It's not about more tools. It's about making the most of what you already have. We offer structured tiers from minimum compliance to advanced risk management, but they're flexible. You can start small and grow as needed. You don't need to solve everything at once. You need a clear, prioritized plan. Our service levels let you customize the support you need when you need it. Let's end with a few myths about CISO services. One audit is enough, the myth. The reality is that the security is a continuous process. Threats evolve, technologies change, and regulatory requirements get updated. One audit provides a snapshot, but managing security requires ongoing effort and vigilance. Second myth, that external CISOs are less effective than internal ones. On the contrary, external CISOs often bring a broader perspective and a wealth of experience from working with multiple organizations. They come equipped with tested solutions and best practices that can be quickly adapted to your specific needs. A CISO is not just a tech specialist. They're a strategic leader. They bridge the gap between IT and business, ensuring that security aligns with the company's overall objectives and risk management strategies. Another popular myth. In fact, small and medium-sized businesses are often more vulnerable to cyber threats because they have fewer resources for defense and recovery. A CISO, even a virtual one, can be a game changer for SMBs. Yes, no one can promise complete immunity from cyber threats. The role of a CISO is to reduce risks, enhance resilience, and ensure that the organization can respond effectively when incidents occur. It's about managing risk, not eliminating it. Thank you for your attention. If you would like to continue the conversation, ask questions, or explore how virtual CISO could support your team, I'd be glad to connect or ask my colleagues. Thank you. My colleague Jans.
Hello. Yes, my name is Jānis. I'm a cybersecurity architect in Squalio. And what about that purple teaming problem? What's it? What is a purple team? Usually people know what is red team. Somebody hears about blue team. However, like everyone has blue team, but a lot of people don't know that they have blue team. Yes, but then there is a combination of these teams. Red team plus blue team comes purple team. Who is purple team and why you should know about it? It's a specific model. But however, it's not a separate team. It's just these two teams when they are working together. This approach is called purple team, and one of the teams are simulates attacks. Another teams are just looking for these attacks and tries to identify them in their security tools. And then why you should look at this approach? Maybe you do think, maybe we can just go with pen tests as usual, or maybe we don't need them at all. Yes, our team knows how the best tools in the industry, and why we need to spend the time in this purple teaming. Okay, let's talk a bit about this problem. Yes, and as I mentioned, then a couple of words about me. I'm in cybersecurity in approximately 25 years, have some certifications, worked with a lot of cybersecurity issues and challenges. It's like a compliance audit, compliance implementation, cybersecurity management, risk management, also these intrusion tests, penetration tests, complex projects. CM implementations, log analytics, and whatever. Yes, and that's why I usually, when I'm hearing about new tools and the new approaches, I'm starting to think, is it worth to think about it, or it's just like some new buzzword? One thing what I learned during these years that you should really think about them. You shouldn't like decide from the first words. Yes, it's just like it's going on as a buzzword. Let's skip it. Maybe it's going on as a buzzword, but usually each buzzword has something under it, and maybe you can just get something from it. Okay, let's go back to that purple teaming thing and start to think about it. Yes, there are like a list of challenges, and if some of these challenges are known to you, it's time to think about this purple teaming approach. And usually, what it helps? First was mentioned. Yes, maybe we have like a top-notch tools, but as was mentioned by my colleague in the previous presentation, top-notch tools doesn't say that you are using them. Your team are using them in the best manner. Maybe they just lack resources, lack knowledge to implement these tools to defend you from these modern risks, because the tool itself, as it like bought and installed in the default configuration, it usually does, I can't say nothing, but just a small part of the job the tool can do if it's tuned, adjusted to your risks and fully implemented. So that's one thing. You need to evaluate how your tools are working. So you need some hackers who are like hacking you, but you don't want them be real hackers. It's better that they're like simulated hackers. The next one, yes, also is about the tools. You know that you don't have tools. Maybe you think that you need additional tools. That's additional question. Maybe you don't need additional tools. You can just work with your existing tools. Maybe you need some additional competences in your team. So it's about additional investments. How to decide? You need to evaluate your situation. Next one is also about your defense team experience. If nothing has happened in like a past year, it doesn't mean you haven't been hacked. Statistics shows that usually these hackers are sitting in your networks for months before something happened. It can be up to like 100, 200 days before they extracting the data and leaving some messages that no, yes, we are looking for some ransom. You are completely owned, but you don't know it. The next thing is like this annual penetration testings. Maybe you are doing them, yes, but these are like annual things. Usually you have one company, you like these guys, okay, these are smart guys and so on. But if you are not changing them, or if you are not doing them, these penetration tests with one methodology, there is always a risk that something is left behind. Them are like thinking that they know your situation, but situation is changing slowly. And the reports are like just once per year tests are doing like, and these are like a lag, not lag, but big lag from the starting of the tests and the report. It's usually 2-3 months. Situation can be changed during these times. Then maybe you can hear about red teaming. Yes, good thing, but it's too expensive. It's really too expensive for a lot of organizations, and there are specific use cases when you need red teams, but let's not talk about red teams today. Because as I mentioned, it's for the specific organization, specific situations. So yes, you have the challenges. Purple team, maybe that's the solution. How it works? It's like, as I mentioned, it's a combination of red team. Red team is attackers. These are certified ethical hackers who are using some well-known methods and trying to breach into your network. What is the red team approach? Yes. During the red team engagements, usually the main goal is just to breach into your network, and that's the main difference with purple teaming. So yes, they can evaluate a lot of vulnerabilities, but when they found that one that allows to go further, they don't care about anything else. They're moving forward. They're limited in time. They need to prove that they can go into. So yes, they found one hole, but maybe you have 5, 10, who knows? So that's about red team. Yes, they are simulating these real attack methods, but that's not full coverage. That's a long intrusion campaigns. They want to prove that your defenses should be improved, but that's not how to find as much as possible vulnerabilities into your network. There are different approaches. Okay, but that's the red team. Then blue team. Usually a lot of people don't know what's blue team. What's blue team? But blue team is your, everybody has blue team reality. Because blue team is a team that's handling your daily cybersecurity or maybe IT support tasks. They are the team detects these potential breaches that are just doing some hardening on your networks. Improving these response procedures if they have a time, of course. So yes, they are managing everyday security operations in your organization. Monitoring these systems, monitoring logs, and trying to identify if alerts are false positive or they need to proceed with this. And the purple team is an interesting approach. When both teams are working together, it can be like a physically. If it's possible, yes, then they are sitting in just one room on the opposite sides of the large table. Part of them is trying to use these hacker methods to evaluate your defenses on separate elements of your infrastructure. And another part is just on this real time trying to identify these hacking attacks. And so that is the combination. One team is trying to attack, but in these times they are trying to do as much as possible, evaluate as much as possible these attack vectors, because of course they are also limited in time, but their main goal is just to identify if this operation is usable to gain some initial access or something else. Yes, in this process. So yes, and then that team then documents the situation and maybe change something in this systems in the fly. But let's talk about this a bit later. So I already talked about these teams. How often we have seen these teams? Yes, a blue team is the team everybody has. Really everybody has some cyber defenses. So that's blue team. It can be not team. It can be like one guy. Yes, really, it can be outsourced guy. But also in the cases you have no documented policies in today's world, you can't survive without some cybersecurity, some basic cybersecurity. So yes, you have a blue team. Really, you have blue team. You can go with. That means that you can go with a purple team. You have at least one guy who can participate in this exercise to improve your defenses. Red team, as mentioned before, very rare. And why rare? Because it's really this red team exercises. At first, them are expensive, and the second, it's it requires like a good understanding from the management what are the consequences, because usually these red team engagements are somehow hidden from your blue team, because in the cases of red team tests, only a couple of guys in your organization knows that something is happening. Blue team is not informed because you want that the team reacts like to real incidents to these hacking attacks. So yes, that's some consequences, and there could be consequences during these intrusions and so on. So risk management should be on the a good level in the organization to proceed with red team. That's why these are rare situations, complex, a bit risky, and also very expensive. Purple teams, it's a hybrid model, and it's like quite not expensive in if compared with red team exercise, and also if compared with the costs can be on par or also below the cost of the standard infrastructure penetration test if it's quite a complex penetration test. What is the model? What is the model using, and why is that purple team approach is so good? There is such a thing, well-known thing as a MITRE attack framework. MITRE attack framework, it's like a list of cybersecurity techniques how these cybersecurity attacks are occurring. And these are on different levels. And what that means? It means that maybe we have some vulnerabilities like on external level that allows something like initial access, but everything is fine on the next defense level, but just on the in the time when pen test is conducted. So all the other vulnerabilities on the next levels that allows privilege escalation, defense evasion, or like access to other credentials will not be tested in such a pen test. But in a case of that blue team approach, we have a long list of specially adjusted scripts to evaluate all these misconfigurations, all these techniques that can be used to gather these accesses. And as I mentioned before, this is why this so layered defense and layered attacks model is why these bad guys are sitting so long into your networks and doing like nothing, but yes, they are just waiting for a perfect moment to move forward. And these moments usually occurs, and if they go through like a next layer and identifies that after the next layer there is nothing, because there is no more layers, everything is misconfigured and allows the next steps, then it's bingo. They have their data, and you should pay ransom. So that's why this maybe also red team tactics and penetration tactics can't identify these things, but during these attacks, attack simulations with purple team approach, we can identify a lot more of these misconfigurations into your systems and use that this MITRE attack framework as a basis for this, but not only on the levels accessible during this pen test, but on all of these levels. So yes, that's it about MITRE ATT&CK framework. As I mentioned, it's like a large database. Sometimes people are asking why it's public, because yes, it's also like a good instruction for these bad guys. But sorry, guys, we also need some instructions for defenses. So yes, of course, it's good for bad guys, but it's good for us. It's bad for you if you are not thinking about your defenses. We can help with that purple teaming. So yes, review these techniques and the tactics that can be used into your network to break in into your network. Because yes, that's how we are using this MITRE library of tactics and tools that we are using these scripts adjusted to these tactics, but adjusted to just like small parts, but we can also combine them during this purple team engagement. So it's not only like just a list of checks, but the most usual attacks, these APT group scenarios are combined and tested in like a full kill chain during these engagements, and then we can evaluate maybe yes, at this time you are good on these things, but you need to improve like something on on this level to not allow these bad guys to gain access to your data, to encrypt your data, and so on. There's some information about most popular MITRE ATT&CK chains, and that's also I want to mention why purple team approach is good, because phishing is the first thing, and credentials from the databases is a second. It's not listed here, yes, but credentials found in the internet is a second attack, initial attack vector. So it's a bit different layer. It takes time, but during these purple team engagements, we usually agree that, sorry guys, we know that your guys during the phishing attack, as our experience shows, a lot of guys will provide us these passwords. So let's start with the assumption that password is already stolen, and we have that initial access. That allows to test as much scenarios as possible, and the outcome is if we can compare it with the money you will spend for this engagement, is the best possible outcome. So yes, and that's that's about initial access, but we can do also these phishing simulations for you if you are sure that your employees really know my employees are good and they are not provide anything. We can prove that it's like it's not like this, but however, yes, it's up to you. And these are the like next top things: privilege escalations. Then is going lateral movements, remote desktop protocols usually enabled in a lot of computers, and that's a big problem. And also the data exfiltration is usually not protected by any XDRs, corporate firewalls, or something else. So in general, as I mentioned, why it's important for purple teaming. All both guys are sitting in the one room, either physical or virtual. If it's virtual room, we can just make Teams call, something like Teams chat, where we are sharing the information about the concrete timing of the attacks and so on. And attacks are we are proceeding with attacks. Your guys are just looking at the logs during this. So yes. What else I want to mention about this? One more thing, yes. Why it's good? Because we can do this engagement not in a one day. We can proceed next day with adjusted systems. So what does that mean? That means that your blue team can do some changes if they are ready, because there are some minor changes usually can be done on the fly. Of course, larger changes needs this larger improvement chain and so on. But small changes can be done during these engagements. You can adjust your systems. You can implement some defense mechanisms, and we can test them during that engagement. So we are adapting. You are not having like a just only report at the end of this, but you are having like adjusted your systems. So that's our solution. Yes, we have team of the experts. It depends on the scenarios we are using during this. Scenarios are usually agreed before agreement is signed. So yes, how many scenarios or how much time you want to spend during these engagements. Then we are doing these tests, but we are also providing some information during this, not only about the tests, but only about, yes, we have run this script just now, but the results should be like something should be shown on either ADR or some in firewall logs and so on. So you know where to check that information. And we can change this. Yes, you said that, oh, yes, we have something in the firewall log. We can also adjust the scripts during this. Maybe after the adjustment, you have nothing in your logs and you need to tune your logs. So yes, that's the approach we are going during this. All the most relevant and actual threat vectors, as I mentioned, not only like Windows-related misconfigurations and so on, but also these chained attacks based on these well-known APT groups are using. Chained attacks are used during this, and so you can evaluate, and we can evaluate how it's going, and yes, that's about it. As I mentioned, we can repeat this. We can repeat these tests. So that what does it mean? Say you will have the report at the end, of course, yes. But you have also adjusted tools, and you also have, and that's the biggest problem usually with the penetration tests. I saw before this. During a lot of engagements that IT team or blue team is not involved in this. If this web-based penetration tests, okay, that's not a problem. You just send the results to the development team. But if it's infrastructure-based, then a lot of time goes during when we are preparing the report. Yes, then you have final report. Then you are processing the final report inside your organization, preparing work orders, putting them into your Jira or whatever you have, ServiceNow or other ticketing system. And then like it's 3 months from the time of the attacks, nothing can be found in the logs about it, and just yes, some adjustments are done, and nobody knows if there are some improvements or not. And you need to buy another retest of that thing or another pen test just after the year to identify that just only five findings are corrected. Yes, and that's a bit on my next topic. Also, I'm digging now. So that's why that purple team approach is good. That you have the results. You have already actionable results after it, and your team, and that's also important. Your team knows something. What is that attack? What their methods they are using, these attackers, and why we are not seeing them? Because there are a lot of these methods used during that simply can't be seen in the logs because like a Windows is not logging. such a thing, or if you are enabling logs for these tasks or processes, your system is working very slow. So that's, yes, you need to adjust another tools. You need to use some different techniques how to identify these things. Yes, and as I mentioned, you will still have a detailed report, identified ways how these bad guys can go into your system, what is most risky kill chains, maybe not full kill chains, but very close to full kill chains. There you need to work to limit some options in your system. So yes, and these recommendations how to close these gaps and so on. So yes, that's maybe an idea for your IT team. Let's do that blue teaming approach. Okay, that was about the blue teaming, but then just in a couple of words about penetration testing and why you should think about it, what are the types and what you really don't want to do during the penetration tests. So yes, penetration tests, yes, is usually associated with a lot of things because there are no one definition for these things. Companies are interpreting them in different ways. Customers are interpreting them in different ways, but usually it's something like identifying the vulnerabilities into your whatever web systems, APIs, infrastructure, servers, cloud configurations, or whatever, and trying to exploit these vulnerabilities. During the penetration tests, usually that approach is try to evaluate as much vulnerabilities as possible, try to exploit. Usually we are trying to exploit only the vulnerabilities we really know that them will not affect the systems because in a lot of engagements, these are production systems we are testing, so we know this and don't be afraid. Yes, penetration testers can go and test production systems. They know what they are doing. Then they know what scenarios should be agreed with the customer, what scenarios should be skipped. Yes, but we are still identifying that there are such vulnerabilities and so on. What is the thing you should remember? We are limited to legal methods only. So it means that we can't use this specific, not 0 days still, but yes, some exploits are circulating on these black markets and so on. We are using just well-known vulnerabilities, well-known misconfigurations, and something like that. We can't use these illegal methods. We can't use also these illegal methods, especially it's related to phishing tasks, as we are providing phishings also. During the phishings, we can phish credentials just only using your corporate emails. We can't approach your employees on Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever. Bad guys can do this. So that's why phishing is not a note. You need to do awareness testing. A couple of words about these types of the penetration tests. Vulnerability assessment, why it's important? It's really important. If you have done vulnerability assessment, it's not worth to order a pen test because during a pen test, that's what we are doing. And if you haven't done that vulnerability assessment, it's like for the pen testers, they just is doing that vulnerability assessment with more cost for you. Because there will be a lot of findings, and the time of the penetration testers will be spent by just documenting these vulnerability assessment findings. So that's the first thing you should do. Just run these vulnerability scanners, ask for vulnerability scanner reports, and close this all the reds, criticals, and just then after this, think about the pen test. Next thing is black box method. Black box method is usually we have nothing to we don't know nothing about the system. Usually it's the system also without a login. If the system have login name is not provided to us. So usually system owners think that yes, you are the hackers, you can hack into that system. Sorry, we can't. If the phishing is not included in this, if it's not like something like red teaming or so on. So it's better. It's usually better if you have the system with login possibilities and business logic. Always orders that gray box pen test offers that login, and that's we are usually doing this black box thing at first and evaluating the possibilities. How maybe we can like override your defenses on this. But it's not so often because. As I mentioned before, phishing and credentials found on the internet is top ways how the access is. They got access to your systems. White box method, you are providing everything to us, including source code, and that method is growing in popularity because these source code analyzing tools are getting more accessible with the rise of these AI things and so on. So it's good because source code analysis provides also some more detailed information of just penetration testing tools like Burp tool or Zap scanner or so on. It provides more detailed information and allows to much easier identification of false positives by combining these methods. But of course, it will be more expensive that white box method with a full also evaluation of the four source code. Some data from our previous engagements, what we have collected. Usually we are finding at least 1-2 critical or high risk vulnerabilities that are really high risk, yes, and not only identified by Nessus as a high risk because there is difference in these methodologies, and then but yes, a lot of them are medium risk and low risk. But in today's environment, when more and more AI tools are used on this bad guy side, I'm trying to send the message to the customers. We need to think not only about the high risk vulnerabilities. We need to eliminate as much as we can also these medium and low risk vulnerabilities because they are trying to use them with these things. So that's what are the most usually is outdated software. Most usually found outdated software misconfigurations is a lot of cases, and that correlates with previous presentation and so on. You have, maybe we have, and everyone have a lot of systems, also security systems, but them are not configured to protect you. Them are just implemented by, and you are thinking that yes, in the default configurations that security is improved. It's not the case. Then also a lot of injections still are found. And that's strange because all the modern frameworks mitigates these things. So your developers are not using these modern frameworks in the complete way they should use. They are adding their code, and that code is bad. Usually that's the findings. That all the system is good, and then in the two places we can find injections, and then we have we are talking to the customers, and they said, yes, we decided to add some custom functionality here by not using that framework. So please not doing this. There will be problems on your side. Also growing thing are insecure design, and then the last one is insecure API endpoints. APIs are growing as a web access platform type. So that's how you should think also about your APIs, and the APIs are the bad thing because in APIs usually are old code, old endpoints are shown. So that's about it. And why? Then just a couple of words. Why these vulnerabilities are constantly recurring? And that's what we identified, that yes, one of the things is that companies and organizations don't have a full asset visibility. There are a lot of assets, especially when during infrastructure engagements. They are just some guys know that yes, there are that old server, but it is just known by some guys, and then not all the team knows that yes, we have some outdated. We need to protect these outdated configurations. We need to protect these outdated servers, or we just need to switch them off or disconnect from the network. Also regarding software installations and so on, there are a lot of software installed some time ago. Nobody knows why it's installed. Nobody uses them, but it's still installed. If it's third-party software, it's usually not patched. That's one thing about these assets and so. Then another thing is misconfigurations, and the misconfigurations was mentioned a lot of times during the presentations. It's just a lack of the knowledge and time to configure your software. And just so your not only penetration tests, but assessments with best practice in configuration implementations is a thing we can do into your infrastructure to just improve, and it will be cheaper way because during these assessments you will be provided with a list of all the things can be improved in the system. During penetration tests, testers are looking just on the things that can allow can allow to like a break in or create the security problems, or that's just this outer layer. During the assessments, we are examining all the layers, and all the best practices are applied either during assessment, or you have a list of things you can change in your configurations, like Windows servers, Microsoft 365, or these Azures after the assessment, and improve your defenses. And then it will cost you much less than just a penetration test. So yes, and that's a bit also on that insecure design side is usually rising of these cloud things. Yes, we need to improve that cloud configuration security. You just usually don't have that information. Just ask for the experts from the side. And because these misconfigurations is a lot of problems, creating a lot of problems. And the last one I want to mention it as, but I mentioned it also in the previous slide, faster dirty programming. If your developers are using modern frameworks, them are eliminating a lot of risks usually. But if the code, a poorly generated code is added, then the problems may arise. And the problems usually are arising with these injections. We are finding injections, and that was like one thing, but we don't have a time today. One thing we will present in some of the next presentations, yes, that we can find that just a simple injection can be found in the system, and that allows you to think as injections, it will like break up the database, but we have a backup. But we can inject the keylogger we can inject the keylogger into your site visitor's browser, and then it will collect these logins, and it allows the bad guys just to steal all the data. So on, that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Ask questions, approach our guys on the sales side if you are interested in some of our services. So yes, think about it. Let's move forward.
So thank you, Jānis and Walters, before for the presentations. So My topic today is Security Operations Center, or SOC. And yeah, that's another good topic nowadays regarding the cybersecurity, in addition to penetration testing, red teaming, purple teaming, and CISO services. So I'm Peter Servalds, have been in industry for more than 20 years. So have been a technology consultant for quite a lot of these 20 years, and now I'm the heading cybersecurity and infrastructure team. And our team currently is located in Baltics and CE, but works not just in these regions, but whenever we do have our projects. So yeah, first of all, what is SOC? So, and here are 3 definitions from some like big vendors, like from Microsoft, from Wikipedia, and also like in the middle, what Google Gemini says about SOC. So here actually the highlights are the goals of the SOC is to prevent, detect, and respond to threats. And that's the core of the SOC in all these 3 definitions. So if we take a look at another highlight, there is mentioned also that this team could be like in-house, or this could be an outsourced team. So it doesn't matter where the team is. The main thing is to prevent, detect, and respond to threats. So another highlight is that it is a centralized team. So this team is dedicated to the security operations. So whenever the threats come, and they are like able to respond, know what to do, and also like are monitoring the threats all the time. So and the last thing I want to highlight is that it's not just the technology, it's also the people and processes. And in today's my presentation, we are going to talk mostly about the technology and then the processes, and the people, of course, is our team, who is in case of our SOC, who is providing the service. Like in more like casual way, maybe. Yeah, we don't want with SOC to be like this guy who is like not thinking about cybersecurity, and when it comes, it's always too late. So we want with the SOC, we are like aiming to think every day about the cybersecurity, and that it is an important topic. So again, like if we go to our SOC, and here are these 3 foundational concepts of the SOC, which of which first one is to prevent. So we actually don't want just to detect and then respond. We want to prevent. So it's we have seen like a lot of SOCs which are like just like implementing a SIEM tool and thinking that that's it. When the threats come, they will start doing something, but that's not the case of our SOC. So we have like multiple technologies like Defender for Endpoint and others I will mention later. So which are focused not just on detecting, but also on preventing the threats before they occur. And also we are like thinking not of as just the antivirus and the EDR solutions, but then some other tools also. So the second one is detect, and here the core technology, which is there, of course, is a SIEM tool. In our case, it's Sentinel, but let's get to the tooling a little bit later. So, and the third big topic is to respond once these threats occur. So we know what to do. We are able to mitigate these threats and contain these threats, and then deal with the consequences, and then restore back to the our operations to work. And on top of that, which was also somewhere mentioned in these SOC definitions, so we have the improve. So we want to improve our prevention capabilities, maybe with like not just, as I mentioned, antivirus and EDR, but also like including tools like application whitelisting, or maybe some strengthening conditional access policies. We want to like improve our detection capabilities whenever new threats appear. So we want to add additional these analytical rules, which are monitoring for threats and being able to detect these, and also like notify that these something like this is happening in our environment. So, and also we want to improve our response capabilities, and mainly it's with automating like actions for different kind of threats. So, and this is what we can do with our SOC toolset. So, and if we speak about the tools, this is what we are currently focusing our this SOC, and the core basis of this, of course, are these 2 things, which is Microsoft Defender XDR and Microsoft Sentinel. So, and if we speak about Microsoft Defender XDR product suite, then these the 2 main things here are Microsoft Defender for Endpoint and Microsoft Defender for for servers, which are not just these prevention tools, but they greatly add also to detection and also to response capabilities. Microsoft Sentinel, as mentioned before, is the tool which we use for detection and then also for automating the responses. So, yeah, in Defender XDR suite, there are also like capabilities for data protection. We can also like protect our on-prem resources with Defender for identity, like protecting, like more detecting threats in domain controllers, in certificate services, also in Active Directory Federation services. For Cloud Apps, we want to protect our cloud applications, not just our SaaS applications, which are coming from Microsoft, but also other applications and what end users are accessing, because of course there are a lot of malicious web applications also on the internet out there right now. So, and also to some extent, we are also using Copilot for security, mainly for summarizing what has been done in what incident and have these lessons learned review afterwards. So, and there are also third-party tools which we can use if our customers have these, and there are like good tools with some detection or prevention capabilities. We can definitely integrate this with our SOC service. Important thing how to provide a managed service or and also a SOC is this permission model. So in for Sentinel and Defender XDR, there are two different kinds of these methodologies as for now, and this is what I will explain shortly. So for Sentinel, we use this what is called Azure Lighthouse, and here we actually are delegating the permissions in our customer's tenant. So we don't need to create separate users in customer's tenant. We just delegate the permissions for our users so they could access this customer's tenant. So what is important here is that customers all the time can see the permissions that have been assigned to our SOC team members. So, and also we can, the customer can revoke these permissions if it's required. Of course, we will not be able to provide the SOC service afterwards, but in any case, there is such possibility. So, and of course, we need contributor permissions for Sentinel, log analytics, and then the automation and playbooks. So we could do like our task when delivering the SOC service. With the Defender XDR, it's a little bit different. So we need to create these users in customer tenant. It's usually the guest users which are created, and then we need to assign these permissions. Depending on this, our SOC team member, SOC analyst level, there are different kind of permissions. So usually it's reader for level 1 SOC analyst and global admin for level 2 analysts. So these are the level 2 are the most our experienced experts who deal with complex incidents and with this try to mitigate and respond to these more complex threats. So according to best practices, we are elevating these permissions only when needed. So we are using Microsoft Privilege Identity Management to elevate to global admin when incident occurs, and when we like and then upon elevating to global admin, we are adding this incident ID as a reason for elevating these permissions. So, and also mentioned here on the slide is unified SecOps. That's a future. So hopefully similar model to what I mentioned to Azure Lighthouse will be available. But at this moment, Microsoft doesn't provide such capability, but it is on the roadmap and hopefully will be implemented soon in future, which will also like simplify our this permission delegation in a SOC service. So yeah, let's try to put it all together. So we have this our SOC platform with core tools, Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender XDR. So first, usually we need to add the servers so they start sending their information and to the centralized platform. So CM and Defender XDR. So in this case, we use this Defender for Servers agent, which is installed. So it reports also Defender XDR platform, and also there is a Sentinel, which adds a value on top of Defender XDR. So in case there are some event logs which we need to collect from servers, or there are some application logs or database logs which we need to collect, and we cannot do it with Defender XDR, we do it with Sentinel. So, and this is to optimize the cost. So I also will touch this topic later about the cost optimization. Because the Defender XDR part is with the fixed price, and the Sentinel is priced based on log ingestion. So the less logs we ingest, the less you have to pay for the platform. But of course, we need to balance this between usability and cost. So if we go further, then we also usually have network devices, and these logs are usually first sent to syslog server, or it's a syslog format or a SF format, and then in turn it is further sent to Microsoft Sentinel. So for network devices, we don't send anything to Defender XDR. So then there are also endpoints, and here we use Defender for Endpoint, which sends all the information and communicates and gets the policies from Defender XDR. Then we have third-party solutions, and these ones are usually integrated with the Microsoft Sentinel. So there is usually for big these vendors, there is direct integration with Microsoft Sentinel, but for others, there is usually a possibility to create some kind of custom integration through API or other these log sending mechanisms which are available in Microsoft Sentinel. So, and then there is Microsoft Cloud Solutions, which usually directly integrate with the Defender XDR, like the same mentioned Cloud Apps or some other Microsoft tooling, like maybe Dynamics, which and don't have this integration directly with Defender XDR. So these like logs are sent to Microsoft Sentinel. Yep. So if you would decide to choose our service, then of course, as for all SOCs, their first phase is this onboarding, where we need to set everything up, and we need to connect the systems to the SOC service. So and before that, of course, we need to, in your environment, set up the Sentinel and the Defender environment and configure it. So then we install the agents, set up the log gathering so that all the information would be centrally gathered, and we would be able to analyze that. So, and then also an important part is this filtering the traffic. As I mentioned, that in Sentinel, the cost is based on log ingestion. So how many logs you ingest to Sentinel, the more you ingest, the more you pay. And also we need to adjust these analytic rules. So these are the rules which monitor your traffic and alerts us whenever something bad or suspicious happens. So, and what I also want to say for onboarding, as we are using these cloud technologies, then usually it's much faster if it is on-prem. So in some tenders, we have seen that the onboarding phase for other SOC offerings is like 3 months or even 6 months. For us, it's usually 1 or 2 months, depending on the complexity of the environment. So, and also, of course, we need to designate responsible persons. So we usually have this lead analyst on our side for each customer, and we need to specify the customer primary and secondary contact person to inform if some incident, and especially serious incident, happens. So once we have onboarded, then we start this real SOC service, and we are monitoring and detecting, monitoring the environment and detecting threats. So, and it's automated monitoring with tools, and also we'll check manually the systems at least daily. So, and then important topic is to triage these incidents. And with triage, we mean to understand if it's false positive or true positive incident. And there is a great deal of work which needs to be done to understand actually if the threat is real or if it is not. Let's say example, it can be like user authenticates like from Europe, and then from after 5 minutes from USA. So maybe this could be a legit action, or maybe this is a malicious action. Maybe user just used the VPN for some system. So we don't know that. We need to analyze that, and that's this triaging process. So then we need to respond. If threats are detected, then we need to do something to contain these threats. So, and our approach is that we usually try to automatically close them whenever it's possible. So we create these response actions, playbooks in Sentinel to close incident, and maybe append some kind of block lists so that these incidents would be blocked. So it could be like, example, if there is like conditional access policy and we detect a brute force attack to Azure portal, then we could like exclude this IP address in conditional access policies from which this brute force attack is coming. That's one example for how we can automatically close. And if not, then we do have our level 1 analysts, which are like immediately reacting to incidents, and if they are not able to deal with the incident, then we are escalating this to level 2 SOC analysts, which are the most experienced analysts we have. And if we see that there is a critical incident, then it is immediately escalated to level 2 analysts. So, and we believe that customer interaction is also like important. So we like in this onboarding phase, we decide what kind of notifications customer will receive, and also like if there is incident, we definitely notify customer that there is such incident ongoing. In some cases, that could be like interaction with end users. That's also usually handled by the customer. So, and I mentioned that we also use these data protection tools like Microsoft tools or Purview tools. So, and here we actually usually give this incident investigation to customer because we don't know the data, what is malicious, what is not. So this is done by customer. So, and yeah, we improve what we are doing. So with automations and we also, as we are like Microsoft partner, we have deep knowledge on all the Microsoft tooling. So we just not just like suggest improvements in our tooling like Defender XDR and then the Sentinel, but of course, if we see some security improvement possibilities on endpoints or in Entra ID or in Intune or other tools or servers, we absolutely say this information to our customers because our like common goal is to improve the cybersecurity of the customer and reduce the chances to get these cybersecurity attacks and incidents. So I mentioned that like one of the goals is to optimize cost. So yeah, our strategy is to ingest only valuable logs. So if there is no value, then we don't ingest it, we filter it out. So there are multiple possibilities how we can filter out the data. So one is on agent, on server level filter out. Then there is syslog, this server where can also we do the filtering for network devices. And before ingesting data to Sentinel database, there are also these transformation rules where we can also filter the data out. And we are pretty good at it. We have done this for customers and know the like optimal balance between like filtering out and ingesting valuable data. So we don't collect performance data. We prefer to use Defender data whenever possible because it has this fixed price. So yeah, we don't send Defender logs to Sentinel because it would be just duplicate data, and usually there is no too much additional value of that. So, and we move the logs to lower cost storage when required. So usually in this database, which is more expensive, we keep it for shorter times, and then we move it to lower cost storage, for example, Azure storage. So, and also there is this different log types, traditional logs and the basic logs are more cheaper, and on the Sentinel database tables, we can mark which are the basic logs. There is less functionality, but also the cost is less. So we also take a look from that perspective. So, and for third-party tools, we try to send incidents to Sentinel, not all the logs. So yeah, if we speak about your benefits, then there is this visibility. So you will definitely see things and cybersecurity related incidents which haven't been seen by you before. So you will have all the access to all the data. So the Defender XDR and Sentinel is in your tenant. We just have the access to it. So and and you will have this feeling that someone is monitoring, alerting, and responding to incidents when these incidents happen, so that you would not be like such security manager that has just spent a tool on security tooling, but no one is actually using it. And yeah, and also like advantage, at least we think advantage is that the components for the SOC is on in the cloud running, and there is minimum requirement for additional servers or on-prem components. So yeah, we think that it is like optimal cost and performance. We are quite sure of that, our SOC service, and we also have this, as I mentioned in the beginning, we are not just detecting, but we are also like working a lot towards this prevention, not just detecting and working with incidents afterwards. So we also include like vulnerability management in our SOC service, and there is monthly reports. And in the end, there is this also before mentioned continuous improvement. When we like share our knowledge how to improve the cybersecurity things in your environment. And there is also this best fit. Of course, I have mentioned a lot of these Microsoft technologies, but of course we are able to monitor Linux servers. But for this best fit for our customer, for our SOC service, is that there is really your this environment is based more on Microsoft. You already are using Microsoft Defender for endpoint, Microsoft Defender for servers. If you have E3, Microsoft 365 E5, even better. And if you have Azure environment, also very good. So. But of course, you don't need to have all these things already in place. We can use maybe some existing tools, or maybe we can during this onboarding phase implement some of these things. But that's just the description of this best fit. And the main thing is that you need to take the cybersecurity seriously. You want to see the things which are happening. You want to deal these things immediately once something is noticed, and this is where we can help you with this one, with our SOC service. And having said that, yeah, that's the last thing from me. So thank you for listening. I will give a word to Ivars for some closing words for today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Peters, for your presentation. 12 points goes from my side to you. From all the other locations, we are still counting. I just need to add Eurovision because marketing asked me to add this line. Also, I want to thank you all who wrote the comments and questions in Q&A. For all those who we didn't manage to answer during the webinar, we will send you the answers. Just make sure if you still was anonymous, comment in the section and we will get back to you. Next thing what I wanted to say that, yeah, so there are, we went through 3 topics, virtual CISO, Purple Team specifically, and pen tests and all this option an overview, and then the SOC services. If you have any questions regarding this, please, guys from Baltics, turn to your account managers. You know, if you are new to us, then write me an email and I will direct you to the right contact in Malta. I'm your guy who will guide you regarding the next steps. Extra feature what I want to mention about SOC services as one of the features for some of you. This is available as a Microsoft paid kind of POC, proof of concept, to check how does it works. Usually we check in Microsoft systems. If you are eligible, then we can perform this service for free. All the others Microsoft funded services, checking, for example, cybersecurity tools, Copilot, etc. So you have a topic of interest, get in touch with us and we will support you. Then from my side, I believe I have mentioned everything. Thank you for your time and have a lovely Thursday. Have a great day. Thanks.